The Girl Who Smiled in Auschwitz. Lisette Moru was born on July 27, 1925, in Port-Louis, France. She trained as a seamstress and worked in a sardine cannery while the country was under German occupation. As a teenager, she joined the local resistance network, secretly helping to pass messages and information while appearing to live an ordinary life. On December 19, 1942, she was arrested and taken to Fort de Romainville. Just a month later, on January 24, 1943, she was deported to Auschwitz on the Convoi des 31 000, where she received prisoner number 31,825. The iconic photo of Lisette, taken shortly after her arrival, shows her wearing the striped uniform and a faint, defiant smile, a small act of resistance captured forever. Sadly, in the spring of 1943, at just 17 years old, she died in the camp due to its brutal conditions. Decades later, she was officially recognized as Mort pour la France, and her hometown now honors her with a street and a hall bearing her name. She was the librarian of Auschwitz's secret school. In 1944, Dita Kraus and her family were sent to the concentration camp, where SS guards strictly banned all books. Yet, inside one of the children's barracks, a small group of prisoners created a secret classroom, and Dita was chosen to guard their tiny library. The library contained just 8 worn, forbidden books, including an atlas, a Russian grammar, and a novel by H.G. Wells. Dita had to hide them constantly, smuggling them under her dress or into hidden compartments to avoid SS inspections. After the war, Dita survived multiple camps, including Bergen-Belsen, and rebuilt her life in Israel, dedicating herself to education and literature. She was an Italian princess who died in a Nazi concentration camp. Mafalda of Savoy, the daughter of King Victor Emmanuel III of Italy, married a German prince and seemed destined for a life of privilege. But during World War II, everything changed. After Italy signed an armistice with the Allies in 1943, Hitler considered her a traitor. She was tricked into going to the German embassy in Rome, arrested and secretly deported to Buchenwald concentration camp. Inside Buchenwald, Mafalda lived under a false name, isolated from other prisoners to keep her identity secret. She endured freezing conditions, malnutrition, and untreated illness, surviving on little more than watery soup and stale bread. Guards kept her under constant surveillance, fearing she might be used as a bargaining tool. In August 1944, an Allied bombing raid hit an ammunition depot inside the camp, severely injuring Mafalda. Without proper medical care, her wounds became infected, and she died just a few days later, at only 42 years old. She delivered babies in Auschwitz and saved hundreds of lives. Stanislawa Leszcynska was a Polish midwife who was imprisoned in Auschwitz during World War II. Despite the brutal conditions, she continued her work, assisting women in labor under almost unimaginable circumstances. She is credited with delivering over 3,000 babies in the camp, often without proper medical equipment, relying on her skills, courage, and ingenuity. She kept meticulous records in her memory, documenting the births and helping mothers survive the aftermath. Leszcynska also trained other prisoners in basic midwifery techniques, spreading life-saving knowledge. After the war, she returned to Poland and continued her work as a midwife and educator, sharing her experiences and advocating for maternal health. Her legacy remains a testament to professional skill, dedication, and human resilience, even in the darkest times. She led a women's orchestra in Auschwitz and gave hope through music. Alma Rosé was born in 1906 in Vienna, the daughter of famed violinist Arnold Rosé and Justine Mahler, sister of composer Gustav Mahler. A talented musician from a young age, she pursued a career in classical music across Europe. During World War II, she fled the Nazis to England and later the Netherlands. But in 1943, she was arrested and deported to Auschwitz. There, she became the conductor of the women's orchestra, a role that carried both responsibility and danger. Her leadership helped musicians survive by granting them slightly better conditions and a reprieve from forced labor. Alma Rosé used her musical skills strategically, saving lives whenever she could, even in the harshest circumstances. She died in April 1944, but her courage, dedication, and the lives she influenced remain a powerful testament to the role of art and leadership under extreme adversity. Doctors used her as a human experiment. Jadwiga Dzido, a Polish medical student, was arrested by the Gestapo in 1941 for helping the underground resistance. She was sent to Ravensbrück concentration camp, where she became one of the infamous rabbits, a group of young women subjected to brutal medical experiments. Nazi doctors deliberately infected her leg with bacteria, dirt, and glass to simulate battlefield wounds, testing new treatments without anesthesia. Life in Ravensbrück was harsh and dehumanizing. Prisoners endured constant hunger, overcrowded barracks, and exhausting forced labor. Despite her injuries, Jadwiga was forced to continue working, which made her recovery almost impossible. Despite the pain, Jadwiga survived. After the war, she bravely testified at the Nuremberg doctors' trial in 1946, showing her scars as evidence of the atrocities committed. Later, she completed her studies and became a pharmacist in Poland, dedicating her life to helping others despite the trauma she endured. She was born in a concentration camp. Eva Clarke was born on April 29, 1945, inside the Mauthausen concentration camp in Austria. Her mother, Anka, had been deported from Theresienstadt to Auschwitz while pregnant. Miraculously, Anka survived multiple transfers between camps, including Gross-Rosen and finally Mauthausen, while enduring extreme malnutrition. By the time she gave birth, Anka weighed less than 30 kilograms. Eva was delivered on a wooden cart used to carry bodies at a camp where 90,000 people had already died. The gas chambers of Mauthausen were destroyed just one day before Eva's birth, and the camp was liberated by American forces only 3 days later. Eva became one of only 3 known babies born in Mauthausen who survived. After the war, she and her mother returned to Prague, and later Eva emigrated to the UK, where she dedicated her life to Holocaust education and sharing her unique story of survival. She smuggled gunpowder into Auschwitz. Alla Gertner was born in 1912 in Poland and deported to Auschwitz in 1943. Assigned to work in the Buna synthetic rubber factory, she secretly became part of the camp resistance network. Using her position in the labor detail, she smuggled small amounts of gunpowder from the factory into the camp. This gunpowder was later used in the Sonderkommando revolt of October 1944, an uprising that destroyed one of the crematoria in Auschwitz-Birkenau. The revolt was risky, and many participants were captured. Alla was arrested, interrogated, and executed by hanging in January 1945, just months before the camp was liberated. Her actions demonstrated the courage and organization of prisoners in Auschwitz, and she remains remembered as a key figure in the only major armed resistance inside the camp. She was a Jewish lawyer. Else Behrend-Rosenfeld was born in Berlin in 1901 into a prominent Jewish family. She became one of the few female lawyers in Germany during the Weimar Republic, focusing on social welfare and women's rights. After the Nazis came to power, the 1933 racial laws banned Jews from practicing law, forcing her out of her profession. In 1943, Elsa and her family were deported to the Theresienstadt concentration camp. At Theresienstadt, she secretly organized cultural discussions and educational activities, helping prisoners maintain hope and dignity under horrific conditions. After the camp's liberation in 1945, Elsa returned to Berlin, dedicating her life to documenting Nazi crimes and preserving the memory of Holocaust victims. A nun and a resistance hero. Élise Rivet, born in 1890 in Algeria, became a French Catholic nun known as Mother Mary of the Immaculate Conception. During World War II, she served as Mother Superior of a convent in Lyon. Under the German occupation, Élise used the convent to hide refugees, including Jewish children and members of the French resistance. She also stored weapons and secret documents within the convent walls. In 1944, she was arrested by the Gestapo and deported to the Ravensbrück concentration camp in Germany. There, she continued to secretly support fellow prisoners and organized prayers to keep morale alive. In March 1945, just weeks before liberation, Élise volunteered to take the place of a condemned mother, sacrificing her life so that another woman could live.